Nissan has fitted a very important new button to its Qashqai, and it's this one here on the dash. Look, it says camera. So if I press that, it brings up the new surround view camera system. And as you can see, it has a full 3D effect, so you can look around the vehicle as well as having a bird's eye view. But my favorite feature is this, the virtual bonnet. So if I press that, you can actually see what you're driving over. So as I start to move forward, it will fit in the blanks. And you can see what I'm about to go over. Oh, look, it's a bag. Oh dear. Hopefully everything in there is fine. This is the kind of thing that you have on high-end Land Rovers. Let's start this review by talking about the design of the new Nissan Qashqai. I say new, it's actually a facelift, so it's the same car underneath the skin as before, but Nissan has given it some design changes, especially here at the front. So you've got this whole new grille, which is massive. Look at the size of this big black shiny textured grille. You've also got split headlamps, so you've got the daytime running lamp on top, and then you've got the main headlamp unit below. Moving down the sides, you get some new alloy wheel designs starting at 17 inches. These are the range topping 20s. I like the Qashqai from the side. It looks quite sporty for a family-friendly SUV. This one has the contrasting black roof, and it works well with this blue paint. It's nice. Moving to the back, on the old car you used to have red tail lights. They're clear lenses now. I prefer this. And lower down on the bumper, they've redesigned that as well. Looks better now, because before it had this big silvery bit of plastic. It looked a bit odd. Overall, I think this is quite a good looking SUV. Starts from £30,000, so this one with options is just over £40,000. But to make sure you're paying a fair price for whatever car you're buying, especially if you're after a Nissan Qashqai, check out carwow. See how much you can save. Here on the inside, Nissan has redesigned the Qashqai's dash. I much prefer the shape of it now, and they fitted it with new materials, so high-spec cars get it's lovely Alcantara. It's nice. You can get it down here. It's on the doors. To be fair, there are still some bits like lower down which are a bit scratchy, here and here and here, but really that's the same with many of this car's competitors. They've also fitted it with a new screen, and it's got a much brighter display than before. Seems reasonably snappy. Best thing about it though, see if I can look, inbuilt Google. So you've got Google Play, you've got Google Maps, you've got Google stuff. And of course, if you need it, you've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Look, if you want to use Apple instead, you can do. One of the things I'm glad they haven't changed, physical controls for the ventilation system. Yes, it looks a little bit like a stereo from the 1980s, but it's great to just be able to twiddle a knob and get the temperature just as you want it. What doesn't seem to have changed though is the digital driver's display, but that's okay because it's reasonably clear and easy to use. Another thing that has changed though, the seat's quite nice, comfy. In terms of practicality, so underneath here, look, we've got a little bit of storage, and then there's the secondary storage under there, and as you can see, there's two USB-Cs. You've got deep cup holders there, which will fit a large bottle. You've got a slightly redesigned gear selector. Kind of a weird nubbing slidey thing. I don't like that much, to be fair. Don't like levers here either. They just take up too much space. I'd rather have buttons or a steering column mounted gear selector like certain cars have. Moving here, look, we've got an area there for charging your mobile phone, wireless charging pad, and old school 12-volt socket there. Door bins. So they're an okay size. Some competitors do have door bins bigger, but look, you can fit a big bottle. They're easily big enough. That's a few things tonight. Let's just check. Got a decent size vanity mirror. Good. It's nice inside. I do think the Peugeot 3008 feels cooler inside. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner appearing in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or follow the QR code on the screen now using your mobile phone's camera. Here in the back of the Nissan Qashqai, knee room is acceptable, though people with longer legs will find their knees almost touching the chairs in front. Also, the footwells aren't that huge, and you can't stretch that far underneath the seat in front. The biggest issue I have though is, can you see this? I may as well be sat on a stool because this part of my legs don't seem to touch the seat, and that means it's not as comfy as it could be. I do think the Kia Sportage is slightly more comfy here in the back seats, and if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the QR code on screen. Now, it's a bit of a shame really, because headroom's all right. You know, this one's got the glass roof, which does eat into headspace, and even people over 6 foot will be fine for headroom in this car. And while there is a bit of a hump in the floor there, it's not too big actually, so you can actually rest your feet on there if you're taking the middle seat. And actually, when it comes to carrying 3 people in the back at once, it's not bad because the body's wide enough and there is enough headroom, so people can get comfortable-ish. Now, when it comes to carrying a baby, it's a bit annoying that you have to flip off the ISOFIX anchor covers, but once you've done that, Make sure you don't lose them, keep them in there. It's easy to actually mount the seat to it, and because those rear doors open nice and wide, there's plenty of space. It is a bit of a slightly snug fit if you rotate one of those rear facing seats around, but there is enough room that you don't really have to move the front passenger seat forward. So let's have a quick look here. We have a passenger armrest, which is good. You have cup holders, which is good. Shame they are exposed the whole time. Down here you've got 2 USB-Cs. You've got door bins. Let's just get a big bottle to be sure. So here we go. Will that fit? If it does, well, yes. The build on the Nissan Qashqai is ever so slightly smaller than its key competitors, but not by any significant margin, and it's still very usable and a nice, useful square shape. And when I fold down the rear seats, you get a continuous floor, so it's easy to slide things all the way to the front. Look, you've got 12-volt socket here. You have some hooks to hang things off. You've got some storage areas there, some tethering points, some more storage over here. And if you need more space, obviously just remove the dividers. You might be wondering what this is. It could be the battery pack for this e-power, or it could be a speaker system or an amp for the stereo. I'm not entirely sure. I do know that as you go up the trim levels, the boot gets slightly smaller, and that could be why. Anyway, that brings us on to 5 annoying things about the Nissan Qashqai. When you're driving along and you suddenly go past some trees, you get the reflections just flickering away like that in this shiny bit of plastic. So it just catches the corner of your eye and distracts you. Gets right on your nerves. There's a little bit of a con with this car's rear suspension. You see, if you get a model with 4-wheel drive or one with 20-inch wheels, then you get independent rear suspension, which is what this car has. If you look under here, you can see the wheel is connected to control arm, which is connected to the chassis, and it's connected to the chassis independently to the one on this side. Look, because there's a control arm connected to the chassis. All other versions, so those with the smaller wheels, 19 inches and below, have a torsion beam rear suspension where the wheels are actually connected, which means that when one moves, it sort of affects the other. That can affect the handling and the ride quality, so beware when you're buying. There's some little clips there to hold the seat belt in. Now they're designed to stop it catching on the seat when you fold the seats down, but it doesn't seem to work that well. Great, let's reset it all, because that's what you're going to end up having to do. I'll just put it back, come on, there we go. Oh no, oh, I give up. The Qashqai's glove box isn't quite as wide as it could be because some of the space under here is taken up by the fuse box. Many manufacturers actually have the fuse box on the opposite side of the glove box so they can have a full width glove box. Not here though. The location of the rear view mirror, the way it's mounted slightly lower down in the windscreen rather than being attached to this pod which already eats into the window quite a lot, causes a big blind spot right in the centre the windscreen, so you're looking at it like that, and then you look over there and your visibility is restricted to this little gap right in the centre. Blooming annoying. Reminds me of my Toyota GR Yaris. It has the same blooming problem. Drives me crazy. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. You can get the Qashqai with a very unique and interesting hybrid system. It's called e-power. What you have underneath there is a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol engine which never actually drives the front wheels. Instead, it actually acts like a generator and it provides electricity to power an electric motor, and it also tops up the power by charging up a small lithium-ion battery pack, so you've always got some charge. Now the beauty of that is that you get the experience of driving an electric car, and the system puts out 190 horsepower, which is pretty decent, yet you can recharge it at a petrol station using petrol, so there's never any range anxiety. You have a divider in the false floor in the boot, look, so you can partition things off to stop them rolling around. Plus there's enough space underneath that false floor to store the load cover. Oh, I promise you there is. There we go. Look, it's gone. As standard, you get adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, so it'll steer to keep you in lane. Also, you have a shortcut to toggle on and off your safety systems, and you can customize them using this button. So on the screen you can decide what you have active and what you don't, and then just press that on and off to turn on the settings you've chosen. The rear doors open to 90 degrees, so you get a nice wide access. It's dead easy to get in and out. I'll illustrate that now. Go on, doggy. In. See. Engine choices on the Nissan Kumquat are pretty simple. So there's 2 1.3 litre petrols, one with 140 horsepower, one with 160 horsepower. They're normally front wheel drive, but you can get the 160 horsepower car with all wheel drive. You can also get them with a manual gearbox or an automatic gearbox. And obviously there is this e-power version, which I've explained before, with 190 horsepower. And that's pretty much your lot. Because this is the e-power version of the Qashqai, it does feel quite different to drive than the normal internal combustion engine engine models. So when you're just driving along at slow speeds, like in town or in a village, you're just pootling around on electric power alone, so it's silent. If you put your foot down, the engine will kick in, but it's really, really smooth. It's not too loud or intrusive. I can put the car into EV mode, which will lock it into electric power for longer, so I really have to prod the accelerator all the way down to the ground for it to actually kick in the petrol motor. So I'm going to go back into EV mode. I'm also going to go into e-pedal mode, which will give me maximum regen braking, but as you can see, it doesn't stop it completely, so you can't completely drive everywhere on one pedal. Now I'm going to do a U-turn here. Turning circle is 11.1 meters. Should be able to make it around that curb. Look, that's really helpful, and I should be able to make it around past this car as well. All round visibility is pretty good. You get a good view through there, so there's not too much of a blind spot caused by this whole area. If you have the back windows, okay, there is a little extra little window in the rear quarter panel as well, which helps when you're looking over your shoulder like that, and it's pretty good looking forward, apart from, of course, as I've already mentioned, the low down location of that rear view mirror. Now the steering is nice and light for just manoeuvring in town, and while using e-pedal is useful for just being able to control the car's speed quite easily using your one foot, at some point you are going to want to hit the brakes if you're going to come to a complete stop, and I do think the brakes just feel a little bit inconsistent and a touch grabby. That's because the first part of your braking is done by regenning, so it's regenning power for the battery, and so it's just not as smooth as in just a standard car that doesn't do that. In terms of the suspension, I find it reasonably comfy over bumps. Maybe on like kind of uneven surfaces it does fidget a little bit, but overall this is generally very comfy. And one of the real benefits of the e-power is that you get instant response when you want to suddenly accelerate. So for instance, if I come to a complete stop, there's the inconsistent braking, then I just go like that. You get the benefits of an electric car, that instant pickup, and it's just so easy to suddenly pick up your speed without much delay. That is one of the main advantages of this e-power system over, say, a conventional hybrid or just a normal internal combustion engine car. It's a good example of the safety systems there. Thought I was getting too close to the car in front and was going to crash into it, so it was warning me. If I'd done nothing, it would have automatically braked. Right, let's check out the pickup on this e-power system. So I'm cruising at about 40 miles an hour. I'm going to floor it in 3, 2, 1, go. So it picks up immediately, and you notice when that petrol engine kicks in, you get an added burst of power because it can give more charge to that electric motor, but it feels pretty swift and it gets up to speed very quickly, and it's responsive. It's a good system, this. I like it. It's kind of like the benefits of both worlds. You get that pickup of an electric car, but without any of the range anxiety nonsense associated with it. Another benefit of this is it's supposed to be quite economical. So Nissan claim 53 miles to the gallon. The reality on this particular car is 45 mpg, which is actually all right in terms of just cruising along at speed. Yeah, it's a relaxing car to travel in, so not much road noise, which is great. A little bit of wind noise from around here, but it's not bad. Oh, and again, that was auto braking there. I think I had that covered and it was a little bit paranoid, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. What I'm going to do is put the car into sports mode, which will sharpen the throttle response. Yeah, it's all right. Seems to hold the road reasonably well, but this will be a test. Okay, you can feel it start to push wide a little bit if you go a touch too quickly into a turn. Right, there we go. That's one of the problems. When you do start to go a bit quicker, the tyres lose grip and it just starts to edge wide. And it does that at slightly lower speeds than the likes of a Honda CHR. In fact, I think a Honda CHR is definitely more fun to drive, and if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out button up there or follow the QR code appearing on the screen now. But still, overall, this is a fairly decent car to drive. Yeah, the tyre squealing again there. Yeah, it doesn't like to be hurried too much. Nissan says this version of the Qashqai will do 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds, but I'm going to time it for myself using my specialist timing gear. Hold on the brake for a second, let go, and it goes. Yep. Full power. 7.51. Job done, I'd say. Proof pointed, or point proved. No, it's definitely point proved. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Nissan Qashqai? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Qashqai. It's a pretty decent and good value for money, family friendly SUV, but it is a little bit more expensive. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. If you want to watch some other videos, click on the windows. If you want to change your car the easy way, just click on the carwow logo and you can sell your car through carwow and have dealers all across the country bid on it. And you can also buy your next car through carwow and make sure you're paying a fair price for it. Thanks for watching.